My apologies that councillors do not have the PowerPoint presentation. I'd like to introduce the members. Member Warren Piper, Deputy Chair Whasitura Mosa, Member Sarah Patterson-Hamlin, and many of you will already know Member Ross Clough. And I'm Kate Thomas, the Chair. So
the presentation was received and it is on Nexus, but pop it up. We're all looking forward to seeing it again. A lovely picture of Avondale.
We've come to you today with a request around the future of Avondale, but first some background. Faux Local Board straddles the boundaries of two legacy council areas. Avondale was on the periphery of the old Auckland council area, and as with some other suburbs on the council margins, it was much neglected. In 2017, a 68-hectare area of Avondale was selected as an unlocked priority area for a 15-year urban regeneration program. One of the key roles for Eke Panuku in Avondale is land sale and acquisitions to enable strategic outcomes, and I'll come back to that $49 million shortly. A priority project was the relocation and construction of a new library and community centre. It would replace the current library, the community centre, parts of which have been closed for years because of black mould, and the Citizens Advice Bureau, which has been housed for years in a tiny, ageing portacom in the library car park. This slide shows you the extent of the Unlock Avondale project, some land acquisition, but predominantly land sales. Please note the area bordered in red. Avondale is undergoing significant intensification. This sketch is a simple indication of the planned level of intensification and mostly covers the area bordered in red, which includes a planned development by the Maratoa Auckland Group for 700 plus units across a number of apartment blocks. This was the largest single resource consent application ever lodged with Auckland Council. The sketch does not include the 117 recently completed Araha apartments built by Auckland, or the neighbouring 236 units being built across 5 apartment blocks for senior housing Kaiangora. These 3 developments alone will add over 1,000 homes to Avondale, in addition to other planned Kaiangora and private developments. There is also a proposal to build thousands of homes on Avondale Racecourse. Such intensification requires infrastructure for residents. The current Māori Ageing Community Centre is no longer fit for purpose, although parts of it are still being used. Te Hono, the proposed library and community centre, is the key public good investment for Avondale, and you can see there the planned sources of funding. A location has been decided, land has been purchased, widespread consultation with the community occurred, and in mid-2021, Faux Local Board approved the design concept. However, as the KPMG report in March this year identified, the key risk to the program is the development of the new community centre and town square, as they are pivotal to achieving the overall vision for Avondale. Not only have construction costs gone up, but the value of the site to be sold has dropped by an estimated $3 to $6 million. We have been asked to agree to the project being constructed in stages, but the first stage does not begin to replace what we already have in our current community centre. It will not meet the needs of current Avondale residents, let alone the thousands who will move here as a result of the Unlock project. Most local board members learned of this shortfall last week. We have come early to your annual budget discussions to request additional funding so this building can be fully completed. That was not a Freudian slip. We have been unable to get accurate figures, but have been told that the shortfall is at least $10 to $12 million. Since the beginning of the Unlock program, Eke Panuku has made over $40 million net, and I want to repeat, $49 million net. So that takes out the land acquisition that has occurred from the sale of land in Avondale. And this does not include the sale of the land on which the current library, community centre and car park are sited. Please consider this request. We are not asking for anything large or ostentatious, just a facility that will help overcome the decades of neglect Avondale has suffered. Thank you.
Seems a very reasonable request to me. Kieran Leone would like to ask a question about it, followed by Shane Henderson as two local representatives. Thank you.
Kia ora. Thank you very much for your presentation, Kay, and to the Whau Local Board that have come in today. Look, I'm also very concerned about the extensive wait it has been following on from the consultation process to get this off the ground. So I think that the two questions that I have is, what do you believe has specifically been the delay, and what has the allocated funding been from Eki Panuku for Avondale?
Our understanding is that the majority of this funding goes into a range of Eki Panuku projects, not necessarily back to Avondale. As I said, the net doesn't include the land acquisition, what has been paid for land acquisitions. So it seems reasonable to us that some of the land that's been, some of the money that's been taken out could go back into paying for the centre. Otherwise you have thousands of people there with no heart to the area.
If I could just comment that I notice Councillor Fletcher is here, and Councillor Fletcher is the last remaining councillor from Auckland City Council. Avondale in the last 30 years has received one playground. So, and if you look at that report that Kay is referring to, the Panuku Urban Regeneration Report, page 27, just so we're not exaggerating, and they're not Panuku figures, they're KPMG figures. There's a statement, actual net sales are well in excess of planned sales. CapEx, 71% of planned CapEx has been spent. There's an $8 million underspend. Net sales above budget are 782% above the planned budget. That is 49 million compared to 6.3, that's 42 million profit. You add 8 and 42 together, it's $50 million been sucked out of Avondale, and we have received a playground. And that's all I'm going to say. But just remember, Avondale, Otahu, Penrose always dipped out at Auckland City Council, and we are getting arguably screwed again a little bit. So we just ask you to consider just balancing the budgets. Let us have a brand new community centre. The other one has been shut down because of mould, or half shut down because of mould, for well over 10 years now.
Well said. Councillor Henderson.
Member Clow just sort of answered the question I was planning to ask, so I'll rephrase it. Does the Whau Local Board believe generally that investment should follow housing intensification?
Certainly. We just look at the proportion of developer levies that have been coming out of that 700 unit, those 700 units in the apartment blocks next to the location of this new community centre, and where is that going, let alone where has the Eki Panuku money gone. Just to remind councillors, this is a walkable catchment. It's one of those areas that has been set aside for intensification, but we do need the facilities to support it.
Thank you for that presentation. I'm going to ask the Chief Executive to get hold of Eki Panuku and just see what they can do about this. If that's all right?
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Mayor.
very much for
And thank
attending
you,
and for your presentation. Very well received. I'll move that it's received, and Karen Leone will, and I'll second it. All those in favour? Right. Contrary? Carried. Thank you very much. Now what have we got? There's no extraordinary items, and so we're going to move into the meat of the day with the Chief Executive and the Group Financial Officer's update. And I'd ask Mr. Gutzel, if he's present,